by acknowledging this land, beautiful land, I would love to add from my part that I really feel blessed being here. And I am Rajvindra Kaur, and I am the part of Ulgama University by doing my graduate certificate in project management, and I'm working for OSU as the Vice President Campus Affairs. And thank you, you all, and welcome you all being here. Thank you.
Super briefly, I'm Karina. I'm also a part of BASU, and I'm also a placement student here at the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. And so it's just been such an amazing experience. Sault Ste. Marie Museum is close partners with the Arts Weeks project. You will get to hear from both of them tonight. If I'm able to peer pressure Alicia to come introduce herself, would you be okay with introducing yourself? I would love if you could. Usually, I can't do enough justice. The first thing we'll get to experience tonight is an exploration of history with the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. Tonight's a great night. It's going so well. Thanks, everybody. I will move aside though, because Alicia could potentially introduce herself tonight, which is awesome. So I'm going to move aside. This is for Alicia to introduce herself.
Hey guys, my name is Alicia Wood-Solomon. I'm the current outreach and coordinating or programming coordinator tonight at the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. Green and I are both having the same kind of night with fun pronunciation of words. So you'll see a brief presentation from myself on interpreting some of the artifacts we have for you tonight on Collage. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you guys have any questions, I'll be here to answer them after. So enjoy.
I could just continue from here. That's the crazy part. Anyway, no.
It could be slightly annoying.
Slightly? Only slightly. That was basically it. I'm going to flip us over to the museum's part. And
good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Alicia Wood-Solomon, and I am the Outreach and Programming Coordinator at the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. Our collections help promote and illustrate the history of the people and the development of Sault Ste. Marie and surrounding area to foster a better understanding of our local heritage and the ways in which local history relates to provincial and national history. For tonight's artifact presentation, we will be focusing on the theme of collage. We have 4 different examples to show everyone that will demonstrate the various types of collages that were created locally in the Sioux over the past 80 years. The first artifact tonight is of a collage box, dated approximately anywhere from the late 1940s to the early 1950s. This keepsake collage box was assembled by sewing old Christmas cards together. The cards were plasticized, similar to a modern-day form of laminating paper. Then the cards were sewn together with blue yarn. The collage box was created by using items that hold personal value to the person who created it. It was used as a keepsake box to store personal or valuable items. So what does this collage box tell us? It shows us that this individual who created the box may have had an interest in art or craft creation. This artifact was an item that meant something to someone. It may have acted like a mini treasure box, a collection of various pieces and trinkets over time. This collage box brought joy to this person and symbolized a form of important self-reflection. We will never know what was actually inside of this keepsake box, but that is what makes it so interesting. That is what brings about our curiosity about this artifact. With older objects like this one, it is sometimes hard to interpret them into a more modern-day context. Just for reflection, have any of you ever made your own keepsake box? A box that could include old concert tickets, love letters, old greeting cards, airplane tickets, old pieces of jewelry, maybe even some high school photographs, and much more. Items that hold meaning and that can illustrate a piece of yourself. The second artifact tonight is of a scrapbook made in the 1940s from ladies' fashion and entertainment magazines. This scrapbook is mostly a collection of female celebrity cutouts from various magazines from the 1940s era. From what we know about the artifact, a young woman made this scrapbook from magazines during her teenage years in Sault Ste. Marie in the 1940s. This artifact is a wonderful example, illustrating a young woman's aspirations and connection to the world around her. This scrapbook tells us a bit about her interests and possibly what she aspired to become once she grew older. We may not know for certain, however, we can definitely say the celebrities in these magazines meant something to her. And through the creation of this scrapbook, she connected with her sense of self as a younger woman, a woman growing up in Sault Ste. Marie in the 1940s. If you had to make a scrapbook of all the things that are important to you or interest you, what would it look like? On to our third artifact of the night. Here we have a toy bonnet created for a children's toy doll. This bonnet is full of ribbons, flowers, and feathers, allowing it to imitate aspects as a children's collage accessory. Filled with bright colors and various assembled fabrics, it would have made a beautiful accessory for their dolls. This artifact dates back to the 1950s, where it was purchased from Simpson Sears department store, although it very well could have been purchased from their famous catalog book. This artifact may not stand out as a perfect example of what we would consider a traditional collage. It sure does have aspects of one, by the varied collection of colors and fabrics that certainly grab your attention. A collage toy accessory like this one, presented tonight, reveal that it can be more than just an accessory. This collage toy may have created something special, and the child who owned this toy may have recognized a special connection with it, and through this learned more about themselves and their interest that surrounded them as a young child. The fourth and final artifact tonight is of a large framed collage. It's a collection of photographs and newspaper clippings centering around various programs and events held at the Memorial Gardens in Sault Ste. Marie. It was most likely created between the early to mid 1970s. This piece is an important part to the museum's collections because it gives us insight into the societal and community occurrences of the 1970s at the Memorial Gardens. So what does this collage tell us about the person who created it? This artifact reveals this person's interests in sports such as hockey and wrestling. It also illustrates a strong interest in musical entertainment. This collage allows us to examine what was important to this person. It gives us insight into what interests, values, and hobbies this person liked and truly appreciated. Although pastime hobbies are clearly an important interest here, there are also depictions of past ceremonial community events. These representations are also an important part to this person's life. This collage reveals this person's sense of self and sense of community. It significantly tells us just how important community really is to this person. Well, that concludes our artifact presentation for tonight. For more information about our collections and current exhibits, please visit our website, www.saumuseum.ca. Be sure to also check out our Facebook page and Instagram page as well for the most up-to-date news and events. Also, just a quick reminder that it is Ontario Heritage Week, so there is a lot of things going on in the Soo at the various heritage places like the Bush Plain, the Sault Ste. Marie Museum, Ermitanger, and so much more. So be sure to check us out online and keep up to date with all of that. We really do hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation. We look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you again for joining us. My name is Alicia Wood-Solomon, and I am the Outreach and Programming Coordinator at the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. Thank you again. Good night.
Nice. I mean, there were a couple of direct questions with that. I'm now thinking of all the scrapbooks that I started and didn't finish personally. Any thoughts, Raj, before we move on?
Now, that scrapbook, it reminded me of my practical notebook. I used to have, small pictures of Sunita Williams when she landed here on Earth, and she became the first lady. It was proud, I was proud Indian at that moment, also proud lady. I was having a tag of, it was called um, the Power Women. I used to write the Power Women and a whole of, small cut pieces from the newspaper on my practical notebook, whole of the year. And my teachers, everybody knows, why are you having, and I didn't realize it was a collage. And at the beginning, they talk about the small box made up of the Christmas cards, and that it can be just kind of silly, but I had it was shape of book, but it was made up of wood. Actually, my father made for me when I was small, and I used to keep some kind of secret things I liked, and it was actually to keep some coins in it, but I actually tear it out, and it opened like the book afterwards because I was small. I didn't know how to handle that, but it really reminded me of that. It was really nice. And the last one, the frame having different cut pieces from the newspaper. In my family, we found someday it was a big. I think that size, as shown in the presentation, we found in our house one frame. It was just empty, and we thought, why not to fill it with our own pictures? Obviously, we were having small, large, and we I think destroyed more than 10 pictures by cutting out so as to fit in the frame. And but we made something. It was also a collage, but it was full of my family pictures. This presentation, I was thinking, oh my God, it is having everything I have tried, in my life, but it connected there. It was amazing.
I thought that was so cool that someone put that scrapbook together. Personally, I'm such an impatient person. You might be able to tell with the speed I talk at. But the one time I did make a collage, I think it was on a 3D object actually. It's impossible to throw out. I don't want to. It's
Really, it
amazing how
happens.
much value come to it.
It happens. You make it, with total enthusiasm. This is the thing. I have, to this time back in India, in my drawers, my study table, I already, to this date, it is having the power woman, the power girl. I still remember that collage I made for my practical notebook. It is still there. I never, dared to throw it away. But I think when I will go visit again my home, I will, take that back to here with me so that I can keep it. It was really proud moment for me being a woman, more
Absolutely.
than Indian. I think so.
Super empowering, absolutely. I think that's a brilliant, brilliant segue. Thank you for those thoughts. If
Yeah.
anyone has any other thoughts or memories that they want to bring forward, please do in the chat. We'd love to hear it. Moving right along, the lovely lady to my left, potentially your right, I just want to go right into it because she has quite a bit to show us tonight. This is
Yeah.
the part of the night where we get to do
Excited.
much more interactive stuff, some art. So for those of you who have the art kit, perfect. For those of you who don't, I'm sure it's on its way to you, or if it's not, it will be soon. But if you are at home or wherever you are at, there are some materials that you might be able to find around you. Even honestly, earlier today, I was thinking about it and I grabbed a cracker box and didn't throw out the crackers. I ate them like a good person. But I used that box as well. Everything is fair game. If you have a small box, some markers, maybe scissors, but you can also definitely do some ripping. That works just fine. And some glue or some kind of sticky substance. If you don't have glue, tape totally works as well. Honestly, you'll find that every little piece you add might even just add to the whole effect. And once you have those materials, we get to kind of flip right over to our screens. This lovely lady who you see before you and we'll see larger in a moment, her name is Maria Perella Ilaria, and there are many things that she is known for. At the moment, she is the Art Scoots Project, and she's an art therapist, previous art professor, although certainly I would argue that she's doing that with us tonight. Over 25 years of arts as tools, social engagement, so much background. I just like to think of her as a pretty hilarious, awesome person.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And certainly extremely passionate about the arts, wanting to bring it to us tonight without any sort of barrier. Everyone is welcome. Any art ability is welcome. We get to use it tonight as a mindfulness exercise and so much more. But I will say no more. Raj, if it's all right, I'm going to mute us again. turn off our video, spotlight Maria, and we will get going.
So folks, for those of you who have your kits at home, go to the envelope in your kit that says Collage, right? It's a big white envelope. Inside, you're going to find a number of different images from magazines. Some are historical, some are just regular, from the last few years, and then just some extra cards and a little bit of an instruction. And this is to use for this project, as well as just working on a collage on your own too. And you can obviously add all kinds of materials to it. A glue stick helps. That would be helpful. You also have a bottle of glue in your other envelope that says mixed, slow stitching. So you're welcome to bring out that as well. And this is the box that you have. Oh, maybe if I show it there. Okay, if I show it that way. So this is the box that you guys have in your art kits. Yes, it's flat and it does fold, and the lid comes down and the whole thing, but don't pop it up just yet. I was just kind of thinking, in order to be able to work on the box, because it has an inside and an outside, and if you choose to work on a cardboard box, you can also, if you happen to have a wooden box and you'd rather work on that, then that's fine too. If you have, like Karina said, a cracker box, a small, even a Timbits box, any kind of small cardboard box, that would be awesome as well. And so the main thing that we're going to work on today is, yes, collage. And basically, to collage something is to take paper and other materials and glue it together. That's basically how it was started way long time ago. It was just bringing together different textures and different papers and gluing them together, and the glue is the media that held everything together. And the part that I'd like us to add to our project today is the idea of affirmations. And affirmations are statements that we make that help us focus on positive aspects of ourselves, help us focus on our strengths, help us move forward with our day, help us to feel perhaps a bit more grounded in what we're doing and a bit more secure in things. And so on our handouts that we gave you in your kits, right? We've got these ones, which you hopefully will recognize from the big purple banner that says Art Packs on it. So if you can take a look at that, on the back of the first page, we have under Collage Affirmation Box, just a little bit of a descriptor of what we're going to be working on. And basically the idea is we have a container, which, like in the presentation that Alicia made, could be characterized as a treasure box, as a dream box, as a box that like holds one's life's goals, that kind of thing. But the basic premise is that we make for ourselves a container that we can place within wishes, dreams, affirmations, statements, true statements about ourselves that we can visit on a daily basis, pull out, read, help us think on or meditate on for that day, and just to help us, maybe feel a bit better about things, especially when we're stressed out and dealing with things like lots of exams or just the stressors of everyday functioning during a pandemic, that kind of thing. So having something like this can be quite meaningful. And like Raj was talking about her own experiences with making the journal and the Powerful Women pieces, something that helps to empower ourselves, right? Help us feel better about who we are and what we're doing and our own potential. Often we don't give ourselves enough credit. So this is a way to help ourselves, remind ourselves that we're doing good and that we're on the right track, and we just need to have faith in ourselves. So I took the box that came in your kits, right? So this is the flat box that you got. And I cut it open, okay? So I took it, right? And I severed just one of the little areas here. So then that way I could open it, and that way I can work on the inside of the box. And I did this only because it's such a small box. A bigger box like this one wouldn't need any dismantling, right? I would just be able to paint the inside or glue something to the inside or whatever, no problem, and then work on the outside, right? Easy, easy, easy. But so this way I can work on the inside, and then I can just tape it back up and then pop it open and secure it, right? And then it'll be my 3-dimensional box. So the premise for our theme for tonight is to work on the inside and the outside of the box. So the inside of the box, I would like us to think about who we are on the inside ourselves. What are the things that we're fond of? What are the things that we believe in? What are our dreams and our wishes and our goals? What are our favorite things? You know, that what are kind of our wonderful aspects of ourselves that we treasure the most, right? So that's what I'd like to put on the inside. And then the outside of the box, I'm going to anyway, use actually parts of a watercolor painting that I did with you all 2 weeks ago, right? When we did our explorations with mark making and watercolors and markers and that sort of thing. So I took the old watercolor and I chopped it up, and I'm going to use different pieces from that watercolor to be the outside of my box so that it represents how I interact with my world around me. Okay, so that might be a concept for you to use as well, right? So how do you interact with the world around you? What are some of the symbols of that interaction? What are some of the maybe the words that you might have that you use for that interaction? How does the world interact with you? Vice versa. You know, it's a give and take, right? It's a relationship that we have with the world around us. It's not one-sided. It's definitely a two-way street. And then on the inside, let's focus again on aspects of yourself or aspects that you find important, your ethics, things that you're interested in, things that for you relate to spirituality perhaps, or that relate to the subjects that you're interested in. You know, how do you feel about the different seasons? How do you feel about nature? All those different kinds of things, right? So your likes and dislikes can go inside the box. So let's maybe keep it simple like that, okay? So, so that's what I offer you to you tonight. This will be your affirmations box. So this will hold, hopefully, if we go back to our handout, this will hold some of these affirmations that we're going to work on. And the affirmations, I've already given you a few here. And these were quite simple. I picked them up actually from a website online. And there's lots of information out there on affirmations. Just Google affirmations, and you're bound to find the site that suits you the most. And so what I invite you to do is, once you sort of got the box made, go to this list of affirmations that are on the handout. And you can actually take strips of paper, and maybe what I will do is I'll take strips of my old watercolor painting that I already cut up, and I'll cut up some more pieces, and I'll actually write the words on here, and then I'll put them inside my box. So that's what's one way of dealing with that, right? It's almost like the box becomes like a really large fortune cookie, and every day you can add to it with new sayings and affirmations and wishes and dreams and thoughts. And then over time, you can take some out, you can put new ones in, you can change it up any way that you want. So hopefully it becomes an object for you that will have some personal meaning over time, and hopefully will help you through, you know, whatever kind of rough patch you might have to deal with at some point. I know exams, I imagine, are probably, midterms exams are probably on their way after the spring break. So you never know, this might be a nice way to help you relax, and it might be a nice way to just kind of focus on yourself for a little bit, right? A little bit of self-care is always good. So I think let's just start working, okay? So And I'm not going to probably talk too much, right? I figure if we can get a good half hour of working, then that'd be great. If you'd like to add, if you have a question, I'll try to keep an eye on the chat so that that way, if you have anything you want to ask, by all means, put it in the chat, and then I'll try to answer, or Karina will try to answer, or Raj. And yeah, so let's just get to it, folks. Here we are. So, like I said, I took my box, cut it open, and I think I've decided, in order to be able to cut all these squares, I made a what they call a template. I traced out one side of my box and figured out just exactly what 3x3x3 looked like, and cut that out, and then just use that to cut more squares out of all these other pictures that I found in magazines, that kind of thing. So that way, they're more or less all the same size, which is very helpful. So yeah, so that was just my template. I'm just going to use it every single time. And so you folks go ahead and get to it, right? Start looking for things. So the inside of the box are the things that you love and the things that you like, and maybe even some of the things you don't like. But mostly just try to focus on the things that give you joy. So put those inside. And you can even use, photos of people in your family, and you can use even images from magazines that represent, different people, like all things. You can also just put colors, whatever makes sense to you. So I've already picked out a few. I've got like fireworks. I always like a good fireworks display. Got some petals from nature. Actually, I like nature quite a bit. Pine cones. Living in Sault Ste. Marie in the north, grew up a lot with pine trees, spruce trees, fir trees, all kinds of trees, and a lot of pine cones, and even horse chestnuts and different things like that. Being around the Great Lakes, lots of water, lots of being around. Okay, sorry to hear it. I hear the music might be a little too hard for folks to hear me, so I might have to go down a little bit. So maybe someone's got an eye on the chat and knows that. So thank you. Thanks, Deb. And then we have got some different kind of colors. I've got some interesting textures from the watermelon and the red plaid, just because I like the color combination more than anything. Good. I'm glad it was adjusted. Good. And so I think I might do a little bit of color play, put that inside. And so like I said, in your kits, you have glue sticks, and you also have white glue. So you're gonna have to do a bit of a test run to see which works better. Usually thinner paper and glue stick works best when it being attached to something like a box like this. I'm a little nervous, to be honest, about the watercolor paper because it is thicker. So we'll see. I might have to tape it and glue it to the outside of the box, but we'll see how that goes. So so I'm just gonna sort of do some work here, and we'll just let hopefully the music kind of carry a mood for you, and I'll just start working. Okay, and if you have any questions, just go for it. Good. Glad to hear you like the program. Good. Okay, so I'm just gonna get to it. And planning out where things go is also an important part. So just play. Before you glue anything, make sure you move things around a lot. See where it goes. Hi everyone, it's me, I'm back. I'm just gonna keep working. Just thought I'd let folks know how taping the box back together, how that went. Uh, I think if you can kind of see the seam here. Yeah, I probably didn't put enough tape yet, but yeah, I just used clear tape to bring the two sides together. And I've started working on the outside of the box, attaching the watercolor painting, and I found I have to sort of rebend it so that it follows the curve of the box and doesn't pop off. And then just a lot of pressure to make sure it attaches to the outside, because the outside is it's a little shiny. Didn't think it was going to be that shiny when we got them, but yeah. So I'm just attaching it and just putting a lot of pressure from the inside to the outside to make sure. And then hopefully, folks, you've got some idea of what the inside of your box is looking like or is going to look like. I ended up working with the sun and the moon and water, air, earth, fire, all the different elements, representations there of water, um, flowers for the earth and air, I suppose, fireworks, fire and air, the sun shining through the trees, the moon down below. You can kind of see that. Oh, there it is, full moon. Woohoo. And food, we got chocolate and strawberries. Yes, definitely wonderful. All natural, natural goodies. That's right. So anyway, I've got 3 sides of my box put together. I've got 2 more panels to go. Hopefully you are doing not too bad with your box. Maybe some of you are done, maybe some of you are still working. And remember too, these kind of projects, you may start it tonight. It could take a very long time, right? You could just keep working at it off and on, off and on, off and on. These are projects that never really ever truly end. They're always changing, always morphing. This is gonna actually take one of my bits of painting and write myself an affirmation. What I also wanted to talk a bit before, because I know we're ending at 8:30 and we have about 5 minutes. I just want to let folks know about our next session in 2 weeks. It will be the first, this is the March 9th, I think it is. For that one, you have the materials in your art kits again, and the materials that you have are in the envelope that says Slow Stitch. And we're going to be working on a mixed media canvas. So you have a little, I think it's a 5 by 5 inch canvas that's in your envelope. And that's where you will find a bottle of white glue, some tissue paper, embroidery floss. You'll also find cotton batting, cotton, it's polyester fiberfill. You'll also find some fabric remnants and some red wool yarn. And what you need for next week will be the canvas, the needle that is attached, that is sort of stuck in the back of the canvas, and a little piece of paper. So make sure you get that out. The tissue paper, the glue. So the idea being that we're going to work on a canvas that is symbolic of something that needs repair inside. So we're going to try and mend this canvas by adding its tissue paper layers, by adding the embroidery floss to it. We're going to be using the needle to puncture the surface of the canvas and sew the embroidery floss up and down, up and down. If you have, if you're a collector of things like bits of driftwood, little pebbles, buttons, ribbon, any, little bits of memorabilia, similar to what we've been doing with the box. But this time we're going to work with canvas and we're going to be sewing things in. And it's basically quite literally called slow stitch because it takes time. So again, and that's all part of the mindfulness aspect, right? Is working on projects that force one to slow down, take a good look at the materials around you and just be in the moment, problem solve in the moment, allow yourself to feel the different textures, the materials, and just work in a very, very tactile way with material. And it's a really nice change of pace, especially if you've been on a Zoom call all day, or you've been in class and it's all online, or if if you're a person who has has dealt with their phone a little too much lately, right, and too much technology. So to actually be like we're doing today, holding a 3D object and manipulating it and changing it and doing different things to it is pretty magical, really, and a very worthwhile endeavor, and hopefully it's been relaxing for you. Karina actually had come in earlier and mentioned that Raj, perhaps you might have a poem that you'd like to share with everyone who's here tonight, and that would be really, really awesome. If you want to, you can unmute yourself and read it out loud for folks, or if you'd like to put it in the chat, you can do it that way. You can do both. And if anybody else has anything they'd like to share too, you could certainly populate the chat with that. And or I'm not sure if they can unmute themselves, but I'm sure we can figure out some way to get you out. So here you go. I will pass it over to Raj. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the thing I have written. I don't know if you consider it as a poem because I don't have an art kit, so I just experiment with my words. So this is the thing which was just it flashed in my mind and I just wrote it, and I will share with everyone. Yeah, there we go. I didn't realize first, and I named it as Collage of My Life, because when I was thinking about the frame we made in, I think 10 or 15 years ago, with my mother, we were making. And then I recalled those days. And then I wrote cutting and sorting, putting them side by side, because we were doing this thing at the moment that we were cutting our pictures, which we found, and we were cutting them so as to, fit in the frame. And the collector over the frame we were adjusting, we on these pictures looked at inside, and I was like, okay. And just casual pictures of me. They were, just simple pictures before that, but when I arranged them and made a collage out of those, it showed me the shades of my life. I felt shades of my life they hide. It means that uh, when I was 5, I looked like this. Oh my God. And then I was 7. Oh my God. At 15, I used to look like this. And so it contained shares of my life. And obviously there were family members. So it made a bit more meaning to me. So that was the reason I wrote this poem. Hopefully you like it.
Did you want to read it, Raj, or would you like me to?
I have read it already and also explained. Okay, I will just read it out at once. Cutting and sorting, putting them side by side, collected over the frame, looked at us and I sighed. Just casual pictures of me, shades of my life they hide. Thank you.
Claps as well for Maria, which I think you can hear quite loudly. Actually, that was beautiful. Thank you, Raj. I wanted to thank you for that, and also thank Maria for such a wonderful night. A night that I hope is not over for folks. Though certainly I hope, like, rest, yes, absolutely. But personally, I am far from done my box. I know that I'll be spending more time on it. So thank you, Maria, for giving us an activity that we can keep going on whenever you have the moment, and feel free to put a do not disturb sign on wherever you are so that you're able to take that time for yourself. but I'm glad that we were able to have that with you tonight. Thank you for spending time with us. I wish to also thank Alicia, in case she hears me, for the wonderful contributions from the museum. Going forward, we're not done these sessions. So 2 weeks from now, on March 9th, as Maria was saying, we have a slow stitch activity. I'll be honest, going forward, the last 2 sessions, I have never done anything like them before, and I'm the most excited for them. So same place, same time, different link, March 9th from 7 to 8:30, and then 2 weeks later on March 23rd, when, did you mention, you must have mentioned it, no?
No.
Do we want to make that a surprise?
Yep.
Fantastic. Not going to say what that is, but we will place the links in the chat. The last thing for me to say is that we have surveys for you. If you have done the survey before and you've been to a session before, you're going to be a pro at this, but we really, really appreciate it if you are able to fill those out. Community member is one, student is the other. Students, there are instructions so that you are able to contact me at intern@soumuseum.ca. The email is in the survey so that you can get a hold of your gift card. Thank you so much for coming here tonight. We have hashtags, handles. Not going to unload them on you right now. We'll send them your way. I believe that is pretty much it. I'll drop the registration links as well. If anyone ever has any questions, of course, feel free to drop them in the chat or email us. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thanks a lot, everybody being here.